Kirkle Math. Hello and welcome to 5.4, dividing decimals by decimals. We're almost done. We're going to continue some long division, and we're going to focus on what happens when we have a divider, decimal as our dividend and our divisor. So our objectives here is that we can divide a decimal by another decimal with precision and accuracy, and we should be able to verbally explain to a partner what do you do with a decimal divisor and a dividend before dividing. So our little review here is going over multiplying and dividing by tens. Okay, we need to know this information when we are dividing decimals, So as a reminder, whenever you are multiplying or dividing a decimal by 10, or really any number, you're going to take wherever that decimal is, and a nice quick way is just to move the decimal left or right. Because if I set them up, 5.3 times 10, and I multiply it out, really that 10, the 0 and the 1, is really just shifting everything over. Okay, and then my decimal point goes here. If I'm dividing 5.3 by 10, same thing, that decimal point is going to come up here and everything's shifting over the other direction because 10 is going to go in 0 times, then 5, and then 3. So you can see here that really when we are multiplying or dividing by 10, we are just moving our decimal point to the right when multiplying and to the left when dividing. And so that's what this little picture here is reminding us. Okay, we move the decimal to the right to get larger. Every hop is 10 times. So if I move it 2 times, that would be 100 times larger. And to the left is smaller, and again, that's 10 times. So if I move this 2 hops, that would be 100 times smaller. All right. Now let's get into the dividing. So we have our dividend and our divisor here. And whoopsies. And we are going to do some division. So if you've done long division with decimals before, you may already know. We want our divisor to be a whole number. That is important. So in order to do that, I am going to multiply, because in order to get this number that has a decimal, I want to move my decimal to the right. So I'm going to multiply by a power of 10. And what I'm really doing is moving the decimal to the end of my divisor. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to move it one place to the right. Okay, then I have to multiply the dividend, the number inside the house, by that same power of 10. Okay, so we're moving it the same number of hops. So because I moved this 1 hop, I'm going to move my inner decimal 1 hop as well. And so we end up with a new division problem. If I move my decimal to the end here, I'm going to get 4, because I had 4/10, now I have 4. And if I move my decimal to the end here, I had 18 and 2/10, and now I have 182. And my decimal's sitting at the end. All right. Now, the rest of these steps are the same as what we've done before. So the only new information that we've learned in this lesson is step 1 and 2. That's the only thing new. Everything else is the same as when we were dividing decimals by whole numbers, because that's what we have now, is a decimal inside or a whole number, depending on how many hops you had to take, and a whole number on the outside. There will be a whole number divider. So we're now going to place the decimal point directly above where it is in the dividend. So this goes straight up. And then we're going to use long division to divide just like whole numbers. And just make sure that your digits are neat and organized. Okay? And don't forget to use placeholder ghost zeros until your remainder is 0. So let's continue to divide this. So if I moved everything, I'm ready to go. So now I'm going to divide. Remember, we're going 1 digit at a time. So I'm going to look at 1. Can 4 go into 1? No, 0 times. I'm going to look at 18. Can 4 go into 18? Yes, 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. Bring it down. Okay, check. Is my 2 smaller than my 4? Yes. Bring down. Now divide again. 4 into 22, that's 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Take away, and I get a 2. Now I'm not going to do a remainder. I have my decimal point. I have a 2 is smaller than 4. I'm going to add my 0, my ghost 0, and bring it down. Okay? 4 goes into 20 5 times. And now my remainder is 0, so I am done, and my answer is 45.5. So 18 and 2/10 divided by 4/10 is the same as 4, or it equals 45 and 5/10. Okay, let's do one more together. So I have them set up this way because we need to practice knowing which one goes inside the house and which one goes outside. So remember that it's 90 divided by 36 hundredths. So, excuse me. This guy is my divisor, and then 90 is my dividend. So I'm going to put 90 inside the house, inside the box. 36 hundredths outside the box. All right. So, remember, every number has a decimal, and that's at even whole numbers. They have those ghost decimals at the end. I am going to, if I go back to my steps here, I'm going to change the divisor to a whole number by moving that decimal to the end. 1, 2 hops. Then I'm going to do the same thing inside my house, my long division house. 1, 2. I'm going to put my decimal. That goes straight up. And I fill in with ghost zeros. So my new problem, if I were to do this again, I'm going to do it, write it out. You don't have to rewrite these. I'm just doing them so you can kind of see what we end up with. 1, 2, 3, decimal. This is really the problem I'm dealing with. Okay? Now we're going to go number by number. Can 36 go into 9? No. 36 go into 90? Yes. But we have to figure out how many times. So let's see, 36 and another 36 will make, let's see, that's 12, 72. 72 plus another 36, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 108. So we're going to say 2 times. It goes into 90 to make 72. That's going to be an 18. Is 18 less than 36? Yes. So I checked. Now I bring down. 36 into 180. Well, we know it's going to be more than 3. So let's add another 36 here. 14 for 144. Let's try another one. That's 10 for 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness, it goes in evenly. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 180, 0. Now, remember, you want to go until your remainder is 0, but we also need to fill all the spots in my dividend. All of these place values between this and the decimal point have to be filled, okay? They all have to be filled. If there were numbers after my decimal point in my dividend, I would also need to fill those spots, okay? So I am not done here. I have to bring that other 0 down because there's nothing above this 0. I need to put something there. So really, I'm going to ask how many times does 36 go into 0, and that's 0 times. Now I am technically at a remainder of 0. I have filled in all of the spots in this problem, in this long division problem. So I am ready to stop. Okay. So the rest of this is really just practice. You can see on your notes that you have about 4 practice problems. So what I want you to do is pause this video, do all of these problems on your own, and then come back and play, and you will see all of them solved, and you can check if you got them right. Pause the video and do the problem. All right, this first one is easy at 75. So you can pause here if you need to see my work. This next one, you should have got 8.5. Again, not too bad. You do have an extra number on the other side, but it does end pretty quickly. This next problem is a little trickier. You'll notice that you'll start getting 20 over and over again, which means that that last number is repeating. So we're going to stop, and we can either round to the 100th spot, or you could use that repeating decimal line right there. And then in this last problem, it gets even trickier. You can see that I started to divide and divide and divide and divide, and I just realized it's never really going to end. I'm never getting close enough to finishing. So after, the third or fourth number, you probably want to stop and just round your answer. So here I went ahead and just realized, I'm not getting any closer. I have 150 after this, after I subtract. And that's 150 is nowhere on my skip counting list here. So I'm going to go ahead and stop, and then I just rounded it to the nearest hundredth. So I got 84.19. Okay. So again, like I said, you guys can go back, pause in the video, check out my work, copy it down, ask someone if you need some help, see if they can help explain what happened in our video. But you are just dividing. So the key parts, in this was to change that divisor to a whole number. That's the first step, by multiplying by a power of 10, moving it to the end, that decimal. And then doing the same to the one in the house, except you're not moving it to the end, you're moving it the same number of hops. So if I move it 1 on the outside, I move it 1 on the inside. Here, if I moved it 2 on the outside, I move it 2 on the inside. Just like that. And then you are just going to divide normally from there, keeping those same rules that we had when we were just dividing decimals by whole numbers, remembering that you're only ending until that remainder is 0, or like in this one, until all those spaces are taken up, because here we had a remainder of 0, but we weren't done yet. We still had a 0 to bring down. It was a significant figure because it was in front of that decimal point. So if you want to go until you hit that decimal point, or your remainder is 0. Okay, so give it a try, and then ask me some questions later if you need it. All right, bye.